Welcome everyone to this special interview session celebrating 10 powerful years of impactful ministry with Apostle Nonso Edwin Ateli, a church founder, deliverance minister, and a teacher of the undiluted word of God. Today, we will take a deep dive into his journey of fire, growth, challenges, and testimonies. Please, sir, can you tell us about your early years before you started ministry?
Okay, thank you very, very much, my host, Happiness. God bless you. The early years of our ministry, before I started ministry, was actually the year of learning for me. I was once a student pastor. The early years I came into the campus, I found myself serving in NIFES, Nigeria Fellowship of Evangelical Students, and that was actually my early years. So as a student, I was pastoring the student for two sections of school, then I was schooling at the same time. So I didn't actually know that it was a calling. I thought it was opportunity that were handed over to me because the leaders were graduating. So when I finished from there, then I found myself at the same time in the secular world where I was working. So in those early years, after school I was working, then attending a church, then until I found out that it was a difficult time for me then, because I was in opinion where I was serving. Every night I'll be having dreams, I'll be having revelation, I'll be having visions where I'll be preaching at the altar. And those were my early years. Born into a Christian family, raised by a mother and a father that were loving lovers of God. So these are my early years experience before the ministry. Precisely from my teenage age, I began to notice that I just love this. I just like to dress like a pastor. But though I wasn't born again, but people look at me and say pastor, because I used to put waistcoat, I used to dress like one and all of that. So those are the early years experience that I had. Then another one in the early years experience was I was attending a church, and in my family church, my mother church, where people are being taught the word of God, and they were raised. Everybody then taught how to memorize Bible and all of that. So when I left secondary school, then I came into the city of Asaba. Then I discovered that there's more to God than what I used to know. So I began to follow the people that used to pray. They used to go for vigil. So my neighbor my roommate will always say, let's go for vigil. When I step into the town, I will see people praying in tongues. But then I didn't know how to pray in tongues, but I was like, it's actually you can pray quietly and all of that. So the first day I saw people praying in tongues, I thought deeply within me that we have not been praying. So when we go for those all night, I will be like 30 minutes I'll be sleeping, and these people will be praying till 5 o'clock, from 12 midnight to 5 o'clock. So that is actually where my hunger began. They say, how can people pray for such hours, and me, I'll be sleeping and mosquito will be biting me in the children's church? So these are the early years. These are the things that drove me into seeking God. Okay, thank you.
Pastor, now the next question I have for you here: when and how do you feel the first time you received the call into ministry?
Okay, the first time I received the call into ministry, I could say it's from the campus time. When I was in the campus, staying in the hostel, when we are nominated as leaders of the fellowship. So I began to seek God. So then I began to have some feeling in me that this is a calling. Until I finished from there, then I went into the marketplace where we are serving and working in an organization. So the revelation kept coming. So I visited a man of God that God used to auction me into the ministry. So he was the one that told me that I have a calling. So that actually confirmed to me the revelations I was actually having those early years. So he just told me, you have a calling, are you aware of it? And you come and work with me, this, that. So I started serving God under his ministry. So these are my experience, and these are the signs. So like you asked me, say the signs, right?
How do you feel?
Okay, how do I feel?
Yes.
Okay, I felt like the one that God had chosen, actually, because I felt that in my family we already had brought up in Christian background. So the moment I knew that God has called me, I told God that I felt happy, because I said that God is going to use me, because I told God that if you called me, use me to bring my deliverance, salvation to my family. Because growing up as a child, I often found that my parents always go to deliverance, family liberation, looking for who will deliver the family, all those things. When I noticed that God has called me, I said, yes, I'm going to be one of them. They don't need to call anybody. I'm going to be the person that is going to bring the deliverance that they've been looking for in the family.
Wow.
So I felt happy.
Very good, sir.